General elections were held in Romania on 19 November 1946. The official results gave victory to the Romanian Communist Party, its allies inside the Bloc of Democratic Parties, together with its associates, the Hungarian People's Union and the Democratic Peasants Party Lupu. The event marked a decisive step towards the disestablishment of the Romanian monarchy and the proclamation of a communist regime at the end of the following year. Breaking with the traditional universal male suffrage confirmed by the 1923 Constitution, it was the first national election to feature women's suffrage, and the first to allow active public officials and army personnel the right to vote. The BPD, representing the incumbent leftist government formed around Prime Minister Petru Groza, was an electoral alliance comprising the PCR, the Social Democratic Party, the Ploughmen's Front, the National Liberal Party Tătărescu, the National Peasants Party Alexandrescu and the National Popular Party. In general, commentators agree that the grouping carried the vote through widespread intimidation tactics and electoral fraud, to the detriment of both the National Peasants Party and the National Liberal Party. While there is disagreement over the exact results, it is contended that the BPD and its allies did not receive more than 48% of the total. Instead, the elections awarded the BPD a crushing majority inside the new unicameral parliament had 348 seats on its own, whereas the PNA was awarded 32 seats, and the PNL only 3. Carried out upon the close of World War II, under Romania's occupation by Soviet troops, the elections have drawn comparisons to the similarly flawed elections held at the time in most of the emerging Eastern Bloc, being considered, in respect to its formal system of voting, among the most permissive of the latter. Following its exit from the Axis in late 1944, Romania became subject to Allied supervision. After the Yalta Conference in February 1945, Soviet authorities had increased their presence in Romania, as Western Allied governments resorted to expressing largely inconsequential criticism of new procedures in place. After the Potsdam Conference, the latter group initially refused to recognize Groza's administration, which had been imposed after Soviet pressure. Consequently, King Michael I refused to sign legislation advanced by the cabinet. On 8 November 1945, authorities repressed a gathering of Bucharesters, supported by the two main opposition parties. In front of the Royal Palace, demonstrators flocked to the plaza in front of the Palace Zamins to express their solidarity with the monarch. Depicting the event as a coup d'apostrophe copyright attempt, authorities fired on the crowd, killing around 10 people. In January 1946, the royal strike itself ended with Groza agreeing to include politicians from outside his electoral alliance, appointing 2 members of opposition parties as ministers without portfolio. In mid-December 1945, the representatives of the 3 major Allied powers, Andrei Vyshinsky from the Soviet Union, W. Averell Harriman from the United States, and Archibald Clark from the United Kingdom visited the capital Bucharest and agreed for elections, to be convened in May 1946, on the basis of the Yalta agreements. Nevertheless, and despite opposition protests, the pro-Soviet Groza cabinet took the liberty to prolong the term, passing the required new electoral procedure on June 17. On the same day, Groza signed a decree to disestablish the Senate, turning the parliament into a unicameral legislature, the Assembly of Deputies. The new legislation, breaking with the provisions of the 1923 Constitution, was made possible by the fact that Groza was governing without a parliament. The Senate was traditionally considered reactionary by the PCR, and its end was arguably meant to facilitate control over the legislative process. The BPD government also removed the majority bonus, traditionally awarded to the party that had obtained more than 40% of the total suffrage.